It's the battle of the basement dwellers. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Timmy Talks. Today we'll be previewing the Week 2 matchup of the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions in Ford Field. Let's get right into the tail of the tape. So both teams lost Week 1 to the other divisional North rivals. The Lions got smacked by the Green Bay Packers 27-13. The score looked a lot closer than the actual game. The Lions had a garbage time touchdown. That was actually a really nice catch. Boom. Let me get out the way. Boom. Look at that. Look at that catch. What a catch. What a catch. What a guy. What an amazing guy. But yeah, this high power offense that had Ben Johnson last year just wasn't able to get anything going against the Green Bay Packers defense. Caveat, the Green Bay Packers 2 weeks in look like a Super Bowl favorite team. They are what people thought they were. Unfortunately, I fucking hate the Packers. I hope that they fall off a cliff, but for right now, they look like Super Bowl favorites. And the Lions offense really struggled against the Green Bay's defense. They only rushed 20 times for 44 yards with their two featured backs of Sonic and Knuckles, aka Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They were known and were a force to be reckoned with last season, and in the first week, Green Bay completely shut them out, and that shuts off the Lions offense because they rely heavily on their run game to then set up the play action pass to help their tight ends and receivers get open downfield. But with no run game, the Packers weren't forced to commit so much to the run. They were able to kind of just take one read step and then drop back on the play actions, allowing their coverage to be a lot better on those kind of plays. And that's honestly the strategy of how to beat this Lions offense. Without Ben Johnson, there doesn't seem to be as much creativity in this offense, so it's really, you gotta really hunker down, stop the run, force Jared Goff to take straight dropbacks, trying to have the receivers and tight ends beat your secondary. And I believe that the Bears secondary can match up very well with the Lions offense. They do have Amon St. Brown, who is one of the best receivers in the league, and they also got Sam Laporta, who's also a top tier tight end. But with TJ Edwards, Jalen Johnson back on the field, I think this defense is going to be so much better than it was Week 1, and they were pretty good for 3 quarters. The fourth quarter they fell off, but I think this time they'll play a complete game. The Bears, we'll get into the injuries, but Kyler Gordon's still out of it. Unfortunately, the Bears defense biggest weakness is stopping the run. It's the run defense. It's Grady Jarrett being questionable for the game. That's a really big hit for the interior D-line because that is a pivotal spot for any run defense. It kind of starts in the middle and then works its way out for the gap schemes, and without him, it's just going to be, it's a coin flip, honestly. The Lions' interior O-line isn't great. Their center retired in the offseason, so they had to replace him. Their 2 guards are meh, and their tackles are really good, but Decker is questionable, so here's hoping. But yeah, I mean, this Lions offense isn't much different. Their O-line's a lot weaker than it was last year, but their positional players are the same. Gibbs can do a lot of damage. David Montgomery is a hard running back. Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta are great catchers of the ball, and also you got Williams, who's just a burner and can just beat you over the top on any play. So the Bears defense have their handful, but I have full faith in Dennis Allen coming up with a great game plan to set up his players, put them in the good positions, and hopefully get a lot of pressures and sacks on Jared Goff. But we will see what happens in the game. Going on to the offensive side. So the Lions defense gave up 27 points to the Green Bay Packers, who, again, looking like a Super Bowl favorite team, so it's kind of hard to really judge them. But without Aaron Glenn being their DC, this defense just really doesn't have a identity as they did last year. Their safeties were still coming up and hitting hard, but their defense was just very vanilla. It just looked so college-esque, like high school-esque, like defense. There wasn't a lot of disguises. What you saw is what they gave a lot of the time. So they showed man, they ran man. If they showed zone, they ran zone. Jordan Love and the Green Bay offense were just able to slice their defense up like butter, like they didn't even exist. Granted, the Green Bay Packers offensive line is significantly better than the Bears offensive line. The Lions generated pretty much zero pressure throughout the game. They're able to shut down Hutchinson, and then everyone else on the D-line just doesn't really do much pass rushing wise. They did blitz a couple times, but even their blitz were picked up really easily by the Green Bay Packers. So the Bears offense just has to be on their P's and Q's with the stunts, with the blitzes, with everything. The offensive line has to have a top tier game. Really cannot be shooting ourselves in the foot again with these false starts and holding calls. It's going to continue to happen. It's not a problem that gets fixed overnight, but if we take good steps to reducing those self-inflicting penalties, this offense is just going to be so much better. It's going to look so much better against this Lions defense. I fully believe that. Their defense really isn't good. I think our tight ends match up against their linebackers really well. I feel like that's a big mismatch that Ben Johnson's going to take advantage of. Either with Kmet or Loveland, when they go one-on-one against Jack Campbell, I fully expect Caleb to kind of be looking at that matchup, hoping that they would be able to win that. Another huge focal point for this Bears offense, though, is it's gotta get the run game going. It's going to be tough against this Lions defense. I feel like our offensive line just probably isn't going to get the push that it needs to get. And Swift just doesn't have the vision to see the open gap every time or able to make up yards with his athletic ability. Unfortunately, I feel like this run game is just still going to be very meh. We do get Roschon Johnson back, which is good for short down distance, but overall he's not like a 3-down back kind of person, so it doesn't really significantly change our run game all too much. But it's gotta change. I feel like Ben's really gonna try to get this run game going this week, really send a message to the Lions. I mean, this is a revenge game essentially, even though he left the Lions, so I don't know how much of a revenge it is for him. But first time back in Ford Field as the Bears head coach, and there's going to be a lot of emotions for him. I hope that he stays focused, stays locked in, calls a great game, and set up the players the best that he can to hopefully secure the dub on the road. I have full faith that he's going to be able to scheme guys open and be able to just manipulate this Lions defense at his will, and ideally allow the Bears to score a lot of points. All right, let's get into the injury report. So the only people that are notable that are going to be out is Kyler Gordon. He's still dealing with a hamstring injury. Grady Jarrett is questionable, so we'll see what happens. Walker is doubtful, but he's a kind of 4th, 5th string special teams wide receiver, so it's not too notable. On the Lions side, I gotta just get lower than that. Decker, their starting tackle, is questionable, so we'll see what happens. I'm really happy that Jalen Johnson and TJ Edwards are back. That's going to really help our defense. And then also Roschon on the offense should ideally help with short down distance, and also just not getting him as many touches, because brother, that guy stinks. We've also apparently added Jake Moody, a kicker that the 49ers kicked. Meh. Like, he's not much of an upgrade from Carlos Santos. If he even is an upgrade, I wouldn't really consider him an upgrade. But yeah, so let's get into the final predictions. I think this is a very winnable matchup. It's not favorable being on the road. I think this Lions team still has a great roster. They lost both coordinators, so I think they're still kind of recovering from that. But also they played against the Green Bay Packers, who are looking like world beaters through the first 2 weeks. So it's really kind of hard to judge how good or bad this Lions team is going to be. But it's the battle of the basement dwellers, bro, of the NFC North. The loser is going to be last place of the division. That's a guaranteed. So it's it is a must win for the Bears. It's going to be a close matchup. I think there's going to be minimum scoring. So I'm going to go Lions 17, Bears 24. Please, for the love of God, for my sanity, please be true, please be right. I don't ask for much. Not much I ask for. I just want to see a win on Sunday. That would be lovely. Well, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bear the fuck down.